super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes
Radio! Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? I'm having the most fun text conversation ever with One Shot right this second as he tries to get the equipment working at the super secret location. Apparently he's getting his ass kicked by it, which is my favorite part of the whole story. Hang on, let me share all this stuff on all the socials so that we are good to go. From the ashes, that's us. How's everybody doing? Welcome. I appreciate you. And hot. There we go. I appreciate you being a part of the show today. There's One Shot. Let's bring his ass in. What's up, sugar tits?
Hey. Holy crap, I was having some troubles getting in, and you weren't answering your phone.
I was getting ready to do a radio show.
Oh, imagine that. Guy.
What's up, man? How you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
You ever see those James Bond movies where they're like skiing down the hill and they're like he's shooting everybody as they ski down the hill and the henchmen with the black helmets on and whatnot?
Yes.
That's where I am.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Is that because you're on a mountain?
Yes. Yes.
So just because you're on a mountain, all of a sudden you're fucking 007?
Well, yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Isn't that how that's supposed to work?
I guess so.
All right, let's get to the important stuff. Dude, congrats on your first degree.
No, thank you.
Big congrats. For those that don't know, hey, how long does it take the average person to earn themselves a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Say it.
And where I grew up, 20, and always at least 10.
The average person does not earn a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That is true.
That's why this motherfucker is above average. So he got his black belt 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
3
years ago. And this past week, he earned himself his first degree. Very, very proud of you. Congratulations. That's a lifelong commitment, man. There are people that's why they call you professor.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you much. It was fun. Also, congrats to Cole, Matt, handful of other guys. Who else was there? Tori got a stripe. Yeah, yep. We had a handful of like really important people the academy get promoted to, which I thought was great. Had a big old row of black belts up there hanging out.
I saw it.
I wish you could have been there, but again, you were skiing down the hill with one of those highly deadly ARs just blasting.
That's what I do, man. I kill the henchmen. That's my role now. It's better than being a henchman.
Yeah.
How's the rest of your week been? Looking good.
Dude, I honestly had a nasty cold the last few days, and I still have a little bit of it, so I'm probably going to talk a little bit less. I might have to go blow my nose and mute for a minute, but yeah, besides that, all good.
Probably best that I'm not there because I don't want to catch whatever fucking AIDS, Ebola shit you got going on over there.
Yeah.
Did the boy bring it home? Is that what it is?
I'm going to assume Petri dish brought it home. For the escaped Petri dish member. He had a little sniffle last week and his like lymph nodes were kind of swollen. And there's like a little bump by it, which is why I hadn't checked. But they were like, oh, I probably had a little cold. I'm like, 2 + 2 always equals 4. I'm about to get a cold. So
yeah. You look like you're dying of AIDS or Ebola or some shit over there, man. So I'm kind of glad I'm here and not there. Gonorrhea herpes is what Nathan Icorn says. That's awesome. Come on now. Do you not hear our safety briefs? Of course we wrap that rascal. Gonorrhea herpes. What are you talking about, man? This is why Nathan Icorn's not invited on the show.
No, we can't have him on the show.
No, we can't. That kind of immaturity. That shit ain't cool.
I love how our guest is in the green room laughing. I assume he probably knows who it is and is like, that's hilarious.
So I always have to ask people, like, before they come, I'm like, have you heard an episode? Oh yeah, why?
Oh yeah.
Because you're not prepared for what's coming.
Well, that's why when the VA, they had contacted us to go onto their podcast because of our show.
Yep.
I remember your response was, "Have you ever listened to an episode?" And then there was nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna have to reschedule. Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah.
Fucking 2024. That's when they're going to reschedule. You know what? 2024 election's over. We're going to end up on the VA podcast. You know why?
We're going to try to keep their job after I get elected.
Exactly.
Yeah. Once I'm president, of course, we're going to be invited back on their podcast. Yeah. Oh, President-elect Williams, would you like to come on and talk about it? Yes, I would. Please bring all of your assigned equipment with you when you come.
That's hilarious.
I love it, dude. What do you call it? We have got some. Thank you. I was going to ask about the Lysol can. I'm having to use my water bottle since I'm glad you've got the Lysol can there, so the show can go on. Next week, if you don't know, we have a guy named Jason Smith coming on the show. I met him while I was out in Baltimore. He is a bilateral amputee who just kicked the shit out of everybody else at the Invictus Games.
Wow.
A mild badass. So you're going to like him. And we've got some pretty other badass guests coming up. So and in just a little while, we're going to talk to my homeboy Adrian Espinoza about how to make veterans rich. But before we do that, did you get the Combat Carl I sent you?
I did.
Do you want me to pull it up or are you good?
Can you want to go ahead and do that one?
Sure. Let's see.
I did not sit there and read it word for word. And I'm
that's okay.
Since you found it.
Why?
I mean, I do that every time I find one.
It doesn't show that it's sent to you. That's annoying. Did I email it to you? I must have emailed it to you. Long story short, let's get into this one. So it's all over the news, right? It's been all over the news for a long time. If you're an American citizen, you probably might not even be aware of this. Oh, there it is. Just popped up. This is from Task and Purpose. If you're an American citizen, you might not be aware that military installations, on a lot of them, I don't know of a lot of good examples where it's good, the housing, I mean. I can point to a lot of examples where military housing just sucks for a variety of different reasons. It was privatized, 2015 or so down here on Fort Carson? I know that. They've been sued twice, and the people that sued them, who runs privatized housing, has won twice. So the military, the private contractor, has lost the lawsuit twice. Military housing sucks. We just finished 20 years of a protracted war, all kinds of money spent. Why are barracks in needs of upgrades? Why is the housing for our service members in such shitty condition? So I thought it was funny a couple days ago when it comes across, this is from our friends at Task and Purpose, who we love. They're interviewing Lieutenant General Omar Jones and Major General James P. Eisenhower. You're a disgrace to your name, General Eisenhower. Mold in Army barracks has become an increasingly common problem at bases around the country, but the issue isn't the mold, according to the commander of the 1st Armored Division. Oh, well, that explains it. Discipline is the problem within the Army, says Major General James P. Eisenhower. Simply needs to be better about adulting. And the general wants to be clear. He meant that negatively. Eisenhower made the remarks on Wednesday, October 11th at a panel at the Association of the United States Army Conference. He and Lieutenant Omar Jones took questions from the crowd, including from one soldier whose staff sergeant probably fucked him up as soon as he got done with that event. There are some areas that are still dilapidated, the soldier said. How do we avoid being on the Army Times? Mold, asbestos, and so forth. And this dude's telling everybody that it's a discipline problem, not an industry problem. Seth, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Were you ever in the bees?
I think you will, because I'm actually going to talk about both sides of this.
Okay, let's go.
I think there's a discipline problem in barracks, yes, and I saw firsthand. So I saw where, in Hawaii at Schofield Barracks, there's two very different sides of the street, and I got the privilege of being on both. So 2 brigades, 2nd Brigade, 3rd Brigade. I started off in 3rd Brigade. the fucking buildings, it is literally just mold, asbestos, there's no individual bathrooms. It's only like the community stall. It's like you're at NTC or something like that. Yeah, nasty. Very, very old.
I like that everybody makes the NTC comparison because they know how much that sucks.
It is literally like living at NTC, not as living there as being a trainee at NTC. It is terrible. Bullet holes in the buildings from Pearl Harbor, right? Like, I mean, we're talking a lot. Okay. It's terrible. I'm like, and here's the deal. I never lived in them because I was smart enough to do one of those contracts where I was able to, as a private, not live on base. So I stayed at them for like 2 or 3 weeks when I first got there. That's it. But I mean, it is terrible. And when we were there, everybody used to be like, look at those buildings across the street. They're all brand new. And they were just finishing building them. Okay. And soldiers were just moving into them at that point, right? Fast forward nearly a decade, not even a decade, about 7 years later, 8 years later. I am in 2nd Brigade and I'm leaving the Army, right? It's the last thing I'm seeing. And I'm in these barracks and there's already fucking mold. And there's already like everything is disgusting. So I do think that there is, I mean, you've been in barracks before. They're rowdy, they're rough. And if nobody's looking, they're disgusting. So yes, I actually understand his discipline thing. But here's the deal. The barracks on the other side, like there's so many barracks I've been into, not just, these are just my examples, but what 3rd Brigade looked like, I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, it's gross, we need to clean it. Like it's been a frat house for, 5-7 years, every 5-7 years, probably got to gut them. Get rid of the gonorrhea persiflates. But the level of disgust in some of the places I've been, or some of the barracks I've been in, is traumatizing. Like we're not talking, if you dig into the wall, we might find a couple of spots of black mold. Like disgusting. So yeah, we live in shit. And depending on what post you are or what neighborhood you're in, if you're in military housing on base, like married with kids, like house, it's shit. Sometimes they're okay if they're brand spanking new, like they just got done. But man, I see both, but it is disgusting to see what our soldiers have to live in. But as a whole, we gotta.
Well, I mean, if they're living in squalor, in decent,
it's not gonna get better.
Wouldn't you attribute that to their NCO? Like somebody's not doing their inspections, somebody's not doing their job. Yeah, some sergeant major and some first sergeant's not doing their job.
Yeah, because it goes all the way up. I mean, I was never in a brigade that didn't have the brigade sergeant major sometimes walk through barracks.
So that says, and when you scroll through those comments on the task and purpose article, it talks about, hey, we went past this place. We were looking at this and the grass isn't mowed and this isn't done and blah, blah, blah. What happened to details that used to be like.
There's no excuse for uncut grass. If there are fucking scissors in the fucking company office, there's a blade of grass that is not fucking level to the marching field, and freshly cut too.
You were probably someone's favorite NCO.
Dude, I was a fucking masochist as an E5. I calmed down a little bit at E6, but E5.
I was having this conversation with Junior just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And correct me on it if you disagree with any of this. So when you're an E5, a sergeant type, 3 stripes, you're supposed to be loud, obnoxious, violent, bringing the shit, bringing the hurt. You're a staff sergeant, a little bit more, sometimes not always. And then when you're a sergeant first class, you should never have to yell again because you have people for that.
Pretty much. I mean, I think all non-commissioned officer ranks, at least in the men's armies, like the Army, and I'll include some of the Marines, okay? But, those ones, yeah. And we're going to use some 4 fucking letter words. And here's one of the reasons I always believed in being really tough on your soldiers. And I had it rough too. And I've never fucking complained about it. Because here's the deal. If I can't handle somebody berating me verbally, how in the fuck can I handle bullet singing by my head? Again, I think that there's different parts of the military in general. If you're an S1 clerk in the Navy that's stateside, that has a non-deployable position, you basically have a civilian job. I'm not saying you're civilian, just saying. Very fucking different. They don't need to be screamed at and fucking belittled all day. But when you're a fucking, E1 to E4, your life should be fucking hell. And either you build or you break. And I would rather break them when they're fucking stateside, and my life and their life too is not on the line. So yeah, I believe an E5 should be fucking wrecking balls, destroying everything in the way,
Vern Shipe, Sergeant First Class Vern Shipe. He was like, hey, dog's off the leash, go fix this, Sergeant. And I got to go fucking bananas and fix shit. And then he promoted me to Staff Sergeant. He's like, all right, it's time to learn some other stuff. And then when I made Sergeant First Class, he's like, I don't want to hear you ever raise your voice again. He's like, you have people for that now. And I'm like, all right, I like where your head is. Great NCO. I learned a lot.
And one of the things that I also appreciate as a junior enlisted, which we started talking about the grass, but this is a life skill. This is not just a skill to get through your military career.
Yep.
But it's like, okay, hey, the grass needs cut. Okay, where's the lawnmower? I don't know, fucking find one. Okay, so I went to the office. The office fucking guy said that we don't have one anymore. Okay, I said mow the fucking grass. I didn't ask you if we got a lawnmower. And you're like, okay, figure it out. And like, that's all you get. And so then the next thing you know, you're like at the next company and the next company, or then you're across the fucking road. When the whole time I was a private, I was in fucking sniper sections. I didn't take it all the way until E5. I was in sniper section directly. I took a little break for a minute, but immediately I'm like, oh fuck, I know that one other private that I was on the sniper range with, and there's only fucking, there's 9 of us on the whole post. Not even 9 snipers, 9 guys that are assigned to this rifle, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll go holler at him. So I go over to him and he's like, dude, I got a fucking mower, but we don't have any fucking gas. And none of us have a car to go get gas. Like, dude, I mean, it was always like, let's get it together. And then
other people's cars in the parking lot.
Yeah. And then, the lawnmower wouldn't work. So we're working on the fucking lawnmower. So 3 fucking hours later, we got, my company's done. He's like, I had to do mine too. So now we like pull it together, and you just figured out without the direction was figure it the fuck out. It's as much direction as you got. I said what needed to be accomplished. You got to go do it. Don't come back to me with any excuse, anything. Like, there is no such thing as failure. You got to complete it. And I think that's a life skill that you get taught in the tough version of the military that I appreciate a ton. So I hope they fucking keep it up, even though they're not.
I struggle with that now because my kids are 22 years old and 20. And I say, hey, it's just like you just described. Hey, the lawn needs to be mowed. Well, I haven't had a chance to charge the battery on the lawnmower. I didn't ask all the bullshit questions. I just said, my fucking lawn is too tall. Figure your shit out. I don't give a fuck how it happens. Make it happen. And that is not necessarily a good way to parent. And I'm learning that lesson the hard way.
But I struggle with the same thing. The thing that I keep telling myself is I talk about it being an incredible way of making sure somebody's ready for combat. And if they're not in the fucking military, I don't feel like they need to be talked to you like that. Like I think there's a balance between it where it's like, hey, just charge the battery. Like, I'll give them a little bit of direction rather than just saying accomplish the mission. I'll be like, okay, thanks for telling me all those things. None of those have to do with what I said. So go charge your fucking battery. Like, instead I would just stare at him. Like, if it was a private, I'd just stare at him. I'm like, do I need to say something, motherfucker?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'd probably tell him to fucking shut his cock holster and all sorts of other things. But, so I think there's just a little bit same concept with a little bit different, little PC in it.
My answer was, hey, we should definitely talk
about HR fires this.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about this outside. I'll meet you out there. Hey, start looking for their lawnmower in the meantime. You know who we should ask about this, Seth? We should ask a retired first sergeant.
Oh, shit.
What is up?
What's going on? I just want to start off with this.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Steph, we have the best guests in the industry.
Oh, right there, God, brother. I heard you. I support. I got your guys' back. Rob, for 2024, I'm right there, brother.
This is going to be the easiest election ever. It's going to be a landslide.
It's got to be.
We just got to continue it.
Oh my goodness. Between last week and this week, man, we have the best guests in the industry. This is awesome. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, a very longtime friend of mine, my buddy Adrian Espinoza, formerly First Sergeant Espinoza, now just Adrian.
Yes.
So welcome to the show. Thank you for taking some time on your Monday evening to be a part of this, and really appreciate taking time away from the family and all that. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your military career.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, like you said, Adrian Espinoza. I retired after 20 years of service as a first sergeant. I came in as an infantry, combat arms, been deployed 3 times, twice to Afghanistan, once in Iraq. I was in the recon, LRSD with 25th. I was in the sniper section with 1-8. Got you, brother.
now he's looking.
Yeah. I was deployed from 04-05 in Afghanistan, 05-06 with the 1-8 infantry sniper. So here at 3rd Brigade with Fort Carson. And then basically I came back and then I redeployed back in 2010, 2011 as a platoon sergeant with 2nd SCR, and then basically finished my career out here in the recruiting atmosphere. And now I'm doing real estate. I'm Adrian now. I'm Espy out here. Building Espy agency. That's what I'm saying. Trying to take on the world, helping veterans, being a big exporter.
Did you say you were with the 25th and OEF 3?
Yep. I was right there with I started out with Cacti 235, 3rd Brigade. So when you said freaking 3rd Brigade, I was like, I know what you're talking about.
I just realized
04-05.
We know each other. I was with the recon platoon in 235.
Get the fuck out of here.
Been part of my time in Bravo Company. I've
been in Bravo Company
in headquarters. I know you're just. It's going to take you a minute and you remember me, but so I spent part of my time with Bravo Company in OEF 3, and then half of my rotation, a little over half of my rotation, I was with LRSD on a task force.
Get the hell out of here.
Uh-huh.
Are you guys like Eskimo brothers or something? Is that how that
What when were you in Bravo Company?
I was in Bravo Company from 01 to 2000 until right before we deployed. Right before deployed. Yeah, right before deployment, I got freaking LRSD was picking up the 6th team, and then basically got recruited with freaking First Sergeant Bellison. I don't know if you remember him. And then basically Sergeant Morrison was with the 18 platoon, and then basically went with LRSD.
So when LRSD needed Bravo 4 guys, I was one of the 5 that came and ran ops with them and the civilian contractors.
No shit.
Yeah.
Because I know Adwan took off and they actually showed up in Herat, and I was just playing catch up, and we ended up in Bagram at the last deployment, so we were in Bagram for the freaking last 4 months of the deployment. And then we finished it off in Bagram and then came back, and then LRSD disbanded, and we're, obviously we're with 125, and then we got disbanded, and I just freaking I got freaking PCS to Fort Carson.
Yeah, I was going to stay on with LRS and stay LRS. And then they started telling me they're getting disbanded when they got back. And I'm like, well, then I'm going to go back to my old unit before I end up getting stuck somewhere where I don't get a fucking choice. So when LRS came back like a month before everybody else, I went back to Bravo 235 and took over a squad.
Ain't that some shit, brother?
I know.
Seth, I got to read this comment to you. So my buddy Jimmy Davis is a loyal listener to the show, listens every week. You can probably see the comment already. So he and I were young specialists together, E4 types in 1st Armor Division. He retired as a major. I retired as a sergeant first class. His answer is, why don't you just call the lawn service? That doesn't sum up an 04. I don't know what he might have even been an 05. I don't even know. I thought it was 04, but if that doesn't sum it up, I don't know what does.
No, 100%, and to your point, Seth, at the end of the day, I know the Army has been changing, but I see that in the civilian sector. I mean, after retiring, I see the drive, the to go ahead and have just a backbone to accomplish things. It's missing, right? And I feel like society in general relies on people like us as veterans that serve, that been able to go put the needs of others before our own, to basically lead society, in a sense, to be a force to be reckoned with, to help society, I should say. And
Absolutely.
It does give me great pleasure to basically help out my fellow veterans. At the end of the day, I went into real estate just as a second calling, right? I went into real estate because of our PCS, 20 years moving all the time. and not really knowing much about real estate and building wealth. One of the things like you said, Rob, when you said it's all about the NCOs, I think in military in general does a pretty poor job in educating enlisted members on how to build wealth, how to set themselves up for success, especially when it comes down to real estate. I think when you talk about, Seth, about living in those type of dorm rooms and those tough conditions, even in private housing, our soldiers don't really understand how to go ahead and set themselves up for success. And our leaders are, in my opinion, I can't recall when they actually provided any type of education on, hey, Private Espinoza, this is what you got to do to go ahead and build your wealth and set you up for success. So it does give me great pleasure to be here today. And I thank both of you guys for having me here and to be able to go ahead and just talk about this. It's near and dear to my heart. And, one thing I would love to talk about is just basically four topics, guys, because I think, I know I could talk about this all day. I have a passion of it. I have a passion for it. And I could talk hours on this, but four things that I think that's
you have 20 minutes.
I know, right? 20 minutes. Here we go. But the four topics is really understanding the situation as anything and everything that I do in real estate. And this is something for everybody else that's watching. I really do, as a veteran, apply my military skills into the civilian sector. And one of the four things that I want to talk about is obviously the current real estate market we are in. I know there's a lot of questions about that. And then buying as a veteran, selling as a veteran, and a real estate career as a veteran. Veterans are out there thinking about like, hey, how do I get into it? So there's some questions that I do definitely want to address that it's been coming up when I serve the community, when I'm actually helping other soldiers, veterans, that has been brought to my attention that I hope everybody here would be able to go ahead and learn a little bit. But before I go ahead and go into like some things that I want to mention, what I'm doing next week on Thursday, I'm doing what's called a real estate empowerment event. It's on October 26th from 6 to 8. It's open to the public. It's free for anybody that wants to know about real estate, wants to be first-time home buyer, seller, whatever it is. Have them come out. I have information I'll provide at the end, but definitely I want to give back and be able to provide that opportunity for our fellow veterans out there. But I'd like to start out. Go ahead, Rob.
So people are going to want to know, and we're going to get asked as soon as we go off the air. Is there a link? How can they sign up? Because people want to know this stuff. How can they attend this event? How does this happen?
Absolutely. So basically, to sign up, there is a sign up link on my Facebook page, Adrian Espinoza, Coldwell Banker Realty. I am with Coldwell Banker. SB Agency is the company within Coldwell Banker. So it is in my Facebook page where everybody can sign up. I'm going to go ahead and try to streamline it. And so that way it could be a videos. I'll provide the link as well on my Facebook page. So that way people could just, jump in and ask questions, but it's really geared to go ahead and just provide education and inform the public. And because one of the main questions that people are asking is, when they ask me is, how's the real estate market? I think everybody wants to know that. They see that in the news. And I'll tell you right now, with everything that's going on with the news, the real estate market is really affected by what's going on in the private sector and the public sector. When it comes down to our inflation, everything that actually goes on with our bonds market really impacts the real estate market. And one of the things that I've noticed is that regardless of what you're seeing right now, it is the perfect time to put a great deal together. And people will look at me and they'll be like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it's a perfect time because the market is volatile, but homes still need to sell and buyers still need to buy. And there's just less competition, less inventory, and there's a great opportunity to both sides to actually make a profit, and especially for veterans. So I tell you right now, it's very important to understand the current market that basically it's in any veterans area, right? You have to understand the market, what you're in there. So I tell you, understand the market is critical, right? So when we look at like whether a buyer or a seller should sell, well, the first question I was asked the veteran to find out is what type of market you are in that area, because that's going to determine on affordability, on making money, and be able to go ahead and make sure that you're able to save money if you're buying as well. So there are things that you have to understand with the market conditions. One is going to be, are we in a seller's market? Are we in a balanced market? Or are we on a buyer's market? And what determines that is your inventory, how much inventory we have. So when we look at the inventory, if you have houses that are for sale and they're going under contract within 3 months and selling within 3 months, that means that we are in a seller's market. That's great for sellers. Sellers are going to be able to put on their house on the market and be able to still get top dollar for their house. Now, if a house is staying on the market for more than about 4 to 6 months, we're in more of a balanced market. That's how long it takes for a house to sell. But anything past that, now we're in a buyer's market. There's plenty of inventory. There's opportunities for buyers to really negotiate and be able to get the great deal possible. So right now here in Denver, especially in Castle Rock, we're still considered in a seller's market, to be honest with you. All across Denver, we're more closer to the balanced market. It just depends on the area. But right now, we still are considered a seller's market because of the lack of inventory. So when it comes down to a soldier, a veteran, or anybody in the public that's looking into real estate, one of the critical piece in saving money or making money is interviewing and picking the right agent. 100%, bro. Because the agent that's going to represent them, they need to be equipped with the knowledge and the experience to be able to support and be able to to fight, to advocate for their client. So that's very critical. And for example, like when it comes down to a buyer, and a buyer, you got a veteran that wants to buy a home, and they come to me and say, hey, I need to buy a home, but should I buy right now? Well, it's really talking about the competition in the area. Well, are we in that type of market? The competition is very important because right now for buyers, there's a lack of competition where buyers are not overbidding for homes. They're not going over asking. They're able to work a great deal because they're the only person submitting an offer. So they're saving money right now. Buyers are able to save a lot of money. And when you add that to the VA home loan benefits, it's huge, especially for veterans with zero down. I got told by a soldier recently, he asked me about the market, and I told him, he asked me, should I buy right now? And my answer will always be the same. You should always buy. But the question that he really was asking was, are you able to afford it? It's all about affordability. A person, just because they're able to buy, because we have the VA home loan and we're able to get into a home with zero down, it comes down to affordability. Can you afford it? You don't want to be what we call house poor, right? You don't want to be basically eating ramen for the next 30 years. You want to be able to go ahead and basically ensure that you are able to afford it. So that's one thing, that getting with the right lender to go ahead and actually sit down and determine their affordability will save them, if not thousands of dollars, by just doing that. That's the first step, right? To save money is understanding your affordability and your situation. The second thing is understanding the VA home loan, bro. You know how many times I've been through with some soldiers that they don't really understand. They know we have the VA benefits. They know that there's an opportunity to buy a house with zero down, but that's the gist of it. They don't really know how much money they will actually save. For example, one of the things that I love about the VA home loan is you're able to use it multiple times, right? You could go ahead and I had a soldier, there's a dual military soldier. So dual military, they both have VA entitlements. So one is gonna buy a house and use only their VA entitlement. And when they PCS, their spouse will go ahead and buy another house with their VA entitlement and rent this house. So when they're in the new PCS, when they're in the new area with this other home with using their VA entitlements, once they PCS again, they could go ahead and refinance to let go of their VA and then buy another one. So they're basically jumping and able to utilize maximizing their VA benefits. So the thing is there's a misunderstanding about VA benefits and utilizing that. And a lot of soldiers don't understand about that. You can use your VA multiple times. And even if you have a house with the VA and there's another house that you're going to PCS to, if you have enough certificate of eligibility available, you can still purchase the VA. You can still purchase that home using the remaining of your VA benefits. So one of the things that I've noticed is, well, how much does that cost? A lot of soldiers are like, is there any fees associated with that? And it's really easy VA does charge a funding fee. And that funding fee is basically to utilize the benefit. And the amount for a first-time home buyer with zero down is basically a 2.15% of the purchase price that will be added to the loan. So that's a benefit that you don't have to come out of pocket, but it will just be added to the loan. So it'll be already included in your payment. If you use it multiple times, then that percentage go up slightly to 3.3%. But for veterans,
my hero life mate, obviously we're multimillionaire because he's able to afford the underground bunker and all the stuff that goes with that and whatnot. But we were talking off air, and one of his lifelong dreams is to be a slumlord, and he wants to own like an apartment building or something to that extent. Is he able to use his VA benefits to buy like an apartment building or something like that so he can rent it out and, charge little ladies too much rent and not fix their water?
Absolutely he can. And that's
what he likes to hear.
Absolutely. All day and every day. Now, there is a cap to how many units he could go ahead and purchase with the VA. And they just changed this recently. It was just this last year. You could buy, it used to be up to 4 units, right? But they just changed it from 4 to 7 units. So you could use your VA up to 7 units. As long as you're living in one of them, you could go ahead and buy a purchase and be able to maximize your benefits there and be able to go ahead and rent the rest. So definitely. And that goes a lot more to when we look into commercial real estate. And I tell you right now, being able to purchase that and giving that ability to buy and build wealth is huge. Now, with the fee associated with that, I'll tell you right now, if you have 10% or more disability, that VA funding fee is waived. And if you're a Purple Heart recipient, that's also waived. So at the end of the day, your disability, your fee that's associated with it is 100%, can be 100% waived and not have to worry about adding on to your loan.
You crushed his dream of being a slumlord because there's no way he's going to move out of the super secret location. If he has to live in one of those, there's no way that just can't work, man. So you ruined it, Adrian. You ruined it.
I hear you.
Seth, you want to give him the instructions? You want to give him the details?
Oh man, I will. Do me a favor. Remind us of all your contacts, IG, Facebook, agency, et cetera, and then feel free to spend the next couple of minutes of going over anything that we might have forgotten about. If you wish we would have asked you something, you can ask yourself. If there's something you forgot about, go ahead. It's your time to shine, brother. We don't time you either, but you got about a minute or two.
I got you. No, I appreciate that. I think, my contact, if anybody wants to reach out, I'll just tell you, call me directly, 720-799-4164. On Instagram, I'm Adrian Espinoza, Realtor. And I'm also on Facebook, Adrian Espinoza, Cobalt Banker Realty. And one thing I'll tell you right now with building wealth and be able to get into real estate, especially for veterans that are thinking about a second career, is about the importance of establishing goals. Make sure that there's enough savings in your bank account, because getting into this lifestyle, it's all 100% commission. You're working for yourself. You are your own entity. And a lot of times where people make the mistake is they think that it's easy money. It's not. You got to basically establish yourself and start planning, put those goals into use. And one thing I'll tell you is I want you guys to think I do everything by utilizing the 3 training domains of the military: institutional, operational, and self-development. That's how I operate. So when somebody's looking into getting a career really quick, I'll tell you, think of it as the military. When you get your license as a real estate agent, it's like your basic training. Congratulations, you're a soldier. Congratulations, you're a realtor. You did good. Now we go to advanced individual training, right? That's your picking your job, picking your career, and going through their training program. Once you get done with that, you got to continue on your education, because the thing is, it's not just freaking being a door opener and just saying, hey, I'll sell your house, or hey, I'll represent you. It's about providing the best level of service for your clients, and you need to go ahead and push yourself to educate yourself and become a subject matter expert. So at the end of the day, guys, I really do appreciate it. And again, I do have that event coming up next week where people can come out and learn about how to a little bit more in depth about building wealth. And on an added bonus, I am a designate. I'm a candidate for the commercial. It's a certified commercial investment member, CCIM, where it basically helps soldiers about investing into commercial properties, and the industrial aspects of it, the retail, office, multifamily, to really build wealth and help veterans syndicate to leverage their opportunity to actually build the wealth. So I'm here whenever you guys need it. I'm open for any questions, guys.
First, did you come with an army? I got somebody named Kelly Espinoza, some super smoking hot chick who's dropping all your social media platforms. And now I got a Liz Espinoza who's also throwing all this stuff out there. Look, man, it's only an hour-long show.
Hey, I bring it. Hey, those are my freaking left and right Franks right there. They're covering me. They're watching my back. I tell you, my lovely wife, Kelly, she's the one who makes me look good in social media. She's my rock, and give kudos to my wife, Kelly. And Liz Espinoza is my cousin from Arizona. So you got somebody from Arizona watching your show. Wow. She's actually looking into getting into real estate as well. So definitely good shout out to both of them out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with a very longtime friend of mine, a former retired first sergeant, who apparently is a homie of Seth's as well, which we didn't know about before this show. My friend Adrian Espinoza. If you're looking to learn a little bit about real estate, you absolutely should. You should go to his event on the 26th. And now that, look at Seth all depressed now because his dream of being a slumlord has been shattered. I'm so sorry. Hey, Adrian, thank you so much for taking time away from your family to be a part of the show. We really appreciate your time tonight.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I got you guys.
Have a great rest of the night.
One more thing before you sign off. You got to go left hand high.
Left hand. What the? It's this way, bro. It's this way.
What are you doing?
It's this way,
bro. It's our unit patch. Is a cactus.
I thought that was your go-to dance move, Seth.
It's part of my old man dance routine. Trust me.
And it was very cool with our crest, right? With Pancho Villa. I mean, if you heard about the 235 cacti, the history of it, it's pretty badass.
Oh yeah.
Guys are
Did you ever have to do a board with all the stuff on the crest?
Oh yeah, dude. Don't ask me because I fucking forgot that shit.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't volunteering information.
It's a blue book. Remember the freaking Schofield Berry's Hawaii blue book everywhere? Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Look, you two, like I said, can do the Eskimo buddies thing off air, okay?
I already sent him a message.
You got my number, bro. Reach out, bro.
Later on. Thank you for being. Holy shit. Really, dude? Is there anybody you don't know?
Dude, you get it's not that I just knew him. Like, we're literally in the same company of like multiple units and shit. Like this exact same times.
Dude,
so
there's 1.5 million soldiers in the army. You know them all.
Well, I do know a lot, but my sniper team was the sniper team that supported his company before I went to that company. And then I went to that company and I went to LURS. And when he went to LURS for a while, we followed each other for a little bit.
The dance moves was my favorite part of the show. And clearly it's Allie's too, because she's got it pinned down. Allie, we've missed you.
Listen, that's nice.
Okay, that's how we're starting.
Well, welcome. Good to see you. How you been?
Yeah, good. Busy.
How was engaged life?
Good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, good. It's just weird. Like the second time around, you know what I mean? Because you're like there's just so much going on in here. Like, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? Like, why are you here? It's just all bleh. But no, it's really good. He's a great guy. I'm wicked fucking lucky. Yeah, it's just weird being happy, right?
Two things. I see a lot of shiny new ink on that arm. And have you been putting some miles on that motorcycle?
So I haven't had any ink. So maybe this, because normally I wear long sleeves and you don't see my
Yeah, I've never noticed that before either.
No, my hold on, my torch. It's upside down, but
tattoos are disgusting.
Yeah.
What, tortures,
Whoever-
tattoos? Yeah.
Whoever tattoos the fucking.
I actually just made an appointment. I actually just made an appointment like yesterday to finish the arm. So it'll be finished early 2024 because that's the soonest my guy can get me in.
I'm going in Tuesday to get Ali says nope right here.
Oh, do it.
I'm gonna say Alex says yeah.
Do it.
I
So,
feel like we should give away a sticker to somebody that like gets it on their ass or something like
you
that.
know, like my fiance says, like, you need to start selling merch. And I'm like, there's no merch. And he says, you need to have a shirt that says, via socist with the mostest. And every time, you know, he's like, at least the via socist with the mostest. And I'm like, okay, that's catchy, but no one's gonna want that. Like, you know, unless you're outside the vet, like nobody knows what a VSO is, right? So
I would
but
totally
when
rock
I
one.
make like $1 million, I might start selling merch. But I'm still stuck at 82.
We can help with that. I know a good radio show. Hey, so do you have something you want to talk about, or should I ask a question?
Yeah. No, go ahead. Lead me in.
So, hearing a lot of shit from the VA right now about how they were unprepared for everybody that's rolling in now because of the PACT Act. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so this is not news. Like, so if you guys don't know, like Congress is the one that sets who's a veteran. Congress is the one that gives the VA money. Congress is the one who decides like what's how much money goes into research. And so we have presumptive diseases because they have these teams, these scientists, these doctors, these medical professionals gather evidence and gather numbers and statistics and data. Presumptive diseases. Okay. So with the PACT Act, when Congress passed that, we're all like, yay. And then, but us via like, this is going to be a shitstorm. And it is. There's been almost 1 million PACT Act claims filed. And now a lot of those are stupid because if you've never served in Southwest Asia, you never exposed to toxic anything, then the PACT Act isn't for you. Okay. Nathan, I am a veteran service officer with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm also on TikTok. It's pretty much how these guys met me. So PACT Act, they're like, if you're in active duty, you can't file PACT Act, right? PACT Act is just for exposures. So Vietnam, right? So Vietnam guys, Southwest Asia guys, and then those who have been exposed to within their daily MOSs, toxins, like firefighters have the like EEF foam. Jet engine mechanics have the jet fuel exposure, things like that. So now there's TERA. There's a toxic exposure, and I don't know what the ERA something stands for. Basically, it just broadens the presumptive diseases. So burn pits, particulate matter. If you were boots on ground, Vietnam, the PACT Act has now expanded to Thailand, Laos, Philippines. Where else? Johnston Atoll, all that. So you don't have to file PACT Act. You can just file rhinitis, sinusitis, and then show that you were downrange. So the VA is not ready, was not ready. They're hiring. So when it comes with mass hiring, you get some shitbags in there, right? You get some people that are less than qualified. And I think that's what's going on now. So people are like, well, how long is it going to take a claim? I can't answer that. Nobody can answer that. I've seen them turn around in like 3 months, and I've seen them take 9, 10, 12, 14, 18 months. So there's no real answer to how long will my claim take. Because the more items you add to your VA disability claim, the more research that rater has to do. They open your STRs, your service treatment records, and they look to see if there's any complaints, symptoms, diagnosis of everything that you are claiming. Then they're going to pull your civilian medical records, and they're going to see if there's continuity of care, because the VA is huge on continuity of care. So if you've never complained about it, if you kept your mouth shut for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and there's nothing in your service treatment records, it's going to be harder for the VA to assume or presume that your symptoms are military related. So.
Well, so bring it back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show with that asshat Eisenhower talking about fucking how it's not the barracks problem. It's a discipline problem with the black mold and the barracks and shit like that. When you talk about toxic exposures and oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give you a fucking migraine, dude. It's just,
I was like in the bath, right? Like I had just put both my feet in the tub and my alarm went off, and I'm like, oh, it's Monday. So I got out. Like I'm not even wearing pants right now. Like that's a reason.
That's either.
See, right? Because I'm not even wearing pants because I got a hot tub waiting for me right now. So yes, black mold, that is toxic exposure. However, you have to prove that the barracks you stayed at had black mold, and that's pictures. You have to show that you have symptoms. So lung, anything to do with lung, asthma, bronchitis, sinusitis, rhinitis. You can't just say, well, I was exposed. Okay, great. Most of us were. What are your symptoms? You have to have some type of ailment or symptom to claim in order to file your VA disability claim.
Allie, I could talk to you all night about this.
For real.
But there is a hot bubble bath waiting for you, and I am never going to be the guy that keeps a woman from her hot bubble bath. Seth does the exact same thing. As soon as the show goes off the air, right to the bathtub.
I know. He's got his robe waiting for him, his slippers, and he just wiggles to his bathtub. I know.
Separate floors of the super secret facilities.
I've seen photos.
Oh, please don't tell everybody about my OnlyFans account.
Listen, there's no money in via sewing. I asked my fiance, hey, listen, can I just do like Ali says toes and just selfie pics? And he's like, do it. All right. I miss you guys. So here's this thing. Go file your VA disability claim. Also, the longer you wait, the harder it is for the VA to service connect it. Service connection just does not just mean, oh, it happened in service, it's service connected. No, you have to have it formally recognized by the VA, and they will give you a percentage, 0 to 100, okay? The longer you wait to file your disability claim, the harder it is for the VA to give you that disability rating, okay? Because old age happens. So if you fought in the Korean War, if you fought in Vietnam and in the Gulf War, and now you're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and you're claiming hearing loss, the VA is going to say it's because you're fucking old. So don't wait until you are 70 years old. If you got the ringing, if you got the tinnitus, okay? If you got the hearing loss, yeah, it's tinnitus, yeah. You got the hearing loss. Please file your claim. Go find a VSO or just go on va.gov. Create an account. Follow the prompt. It's literally dummy proof. You can't screw it up because if you won't enter something correctly, the screen will not progress forward. I promise you can do it, you guys.
I'd like to introduce you to my co-host. His name is One Shot.
Even One Shot can do that.
I've surprised some people lately on my incapabilities of basic things like email.
Yeah. So listen, you have my personal contact information. You call me. I'll make sure that you hit the continue button every time the screen goes on there. Continue.
When people ask what Ali does, we usually just say unfuck soldiers.
Yeah, that's exactly right, actually.
I think that's pretty much what I do, right? Yeah, I unfuck veterans.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go take a bath. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad to be back.
It's good to have you back. And yeah, enjoy your bath. Get out of here. Go to work. Go.
Sure. Okay, bye.
Night, Ali. I'm glad she's back, man. The show almost fell apart.
Dude, the best part of the show. I mean, that is the best part of the show right there. I mean, the fact that she's talking about taking a hot bath, that has nothing to do with it. But, I mean I will use sexuality to broadcast, to bring attention to this show. I'm not above taking my shirt off. What? All right, man. So do you want to talk about that post you made a couple nights ago, that anniversary?
Dude, you know what? I knew you were going to ask me to do that, and I just thought about it. So I'm going to see if I can gazoogle really quick. Why don't we start a safety brief while I try and see if I can get that?
I will get started on the safety brief. Our listener Ariel Best is asking how often Ali is on, but because you and Adrian, please keep your shirt on. I have seen you with a shirt off. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Oh, the major's been listening the whole. Jimmy, did you retire as a major or a colonel? So because you and our guest had such a tight bond, and apparently, you know, Eskimo brothers and all that bullshit, I'm going to bring him back on for our safety brief. No. Yeah, because apparently you guys best line ever. So I'll bet
Not rude.
Adrian has some instances where you were the cause of the safety brief.
Fuck. I bet you it's the same thing I was going to say too, because I thought about one that he would know about. But go ahead.
You're muted, dude. You're muted. Oh my God, so unprofessional.
Wait, right here. No. It's just I had to say something before I had to say it. You know.
I get you. So go ahead, Adrian. Throw it out there.
Safety brief. Make sure everybody's hearing you. When in Rome, wrap it up. You know, I mean, one shot killer over there. You gotta go ahead and make sure you don't catch anything.
If you haven't met our senior executive producer, you're exactly correct. And I love how you started things off on the safety brief. So, Adrian, one of the things with our safety brief is, you know, when you were a first sergeant, were you my first sergeant for a while?
I was not. I was Lieutenant First Class. You retired. I was the first sergeant of two company. You went to AMID, remember?
Yes. Oh, okay. All right. So no, but you, okay. Got you. This safety brief has to last you through the week. You're used to giving it on Fridays at 5:00 before everybody kicks rocks. This safety brief has to last you through the whole week. And I'm so glad you made that point and you were muted. Ladies and gentlemen, communication is key. Just because, and I'm talking about everything from your spouse to your kids to the person that you're on the radio with. Just because you're saying it doesn't mean they're hearing it. Confirm the message and make sure everybody hears what it is that you're trying to say. So thank you for being the perfect example, Adrian. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I'll just say, you know, hunt the good stuff. You know, at the end of the day, one of the things I always tell everybody, especially every single day, just hunt the good stuff. You know, be happy that you wake up, find 3 things that you're grateful for, and just go ahead and just say it out loud to yourself every single day.
It was so overused when we were in the Army, but now that you're out, it means a whole lot more when someone says hunt the good stuff. Seth, what do you got for the safety brief? Anything good?
I do. So just remember, guys, that whether you're stateside or you're deployed, you can still get in trouble. So don't decide to be deployed, get wasted, drunk, and race up and down fucking the main strip of Bagram on a 4-wheeler. Just saying.
We only got 2 minutes left in the show. Are we going to get the rest of that story there between you two? He smiled as soon as you said that, which means he knows some shit.
Yeah, especially when the division commander fucking sees it. Nothing like standing in front of multiple stars. All right. So our never forgotten for today. The anniversary was I was laughing a minute ago. It was actually yesterday. So the 35th Infantry Regiment Association salutes our fallen brother, First Lieutenant Joshua Dees, who died in the service of his country on October 15, 2006 in Kirkuk, Iraq. The cause of death was listed as improvised explosive device. At the time of his death, Josh was 25 years of age and was from Rowland, North Carolina. The decorations earned by First Lieutenant Josh Dees included the Combat Infantryman Badge, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. This is an incredibly long, holy moly. We can't read all that in 2 minutes. I can't do that in 2 minutes. But I will say he was one of my platoon leaders for a short amount of time. He's a good friend and a fucking good dude. And way too young. So never forgotten. First Lieutenant Joshua Dees.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight when you get ready to put your heads on your pillow and you drop to your knees and put your hands together, please remember Josh and his family. And these are the names that we absolutely as a nation cannot forget. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to From the Ashes on About Face Media. I can't thank you all for taking time out of your Monday evening to be here along with our guest, Adrian Espinoza. Thank you so much, First Sergeant. I really appreciate you taking the time to be a part of the show. Folks, go watch yourself some Monday Night Football. And we will catch you next week, same time, where we will have Josh Smith with us next week. So everybody have a great night, and thanks for being here.
All right, Adrian, thanks for being on.